Hi guys, I'm back. Now this video is for the 12th of July in our Junk Journal challenge, and the prompt is dyed. Now I thought I hit record because I was just so keen to get into the dyed fabrics, the indigo dyed fabrics, that I rabbited on for like 20 minutes piecing together this piece. This is the photo for the end of the video. I've looked up at the screen to see how the photo will look and realised I have not recorded a single thing. So I'm going to deconstruct this piece because I now have a photo of it and show you sort of what I did with it. The other thing before we get into it is I also showed you at the very beginning of the video our little ephemera folio. Now I'll come back to that once I sort of talk through this, because I did add some score lines into the spine to help it close a little bit better, because we filled it full of goodies and it was sort of gator mouthing a bit. So I fixed the spine with some more score lines. So I'll just put it to one side here to remind me that we need to talk about that. Okay, now dyed, indigo dyed fabrics. I have a heap of them within my Japanese inspired fabrics. Now all my fabrics, which I've mentioned before, came from Bitten by the Bug. I have been a naughty girl and gone back to their Etsy store and ordered some more fabric, but 3 pieces, just a fat quarter of them, because what I've found is I've so enjoyed playing with these elements that there's a couple that have really stood out to me. This one in particular, it's called Chalk Lines. It is beautiful. It is textured. It's got these faint stripes, and I've used it a few times already through the video. So I've gone back to the website and ordered a fat quarter of that. I also picked up 2 other blue fabrics, which I don't think they're in amongst my things. I'm pretty sure they aren't. But being that the Roxy Creations stitchery project is blues in winters, and I'm having a play with that, I just spotted them and I thought, oh, I might get myself a fat quarter of these 2 additional blues. When they arrive, I'll show you, because they're part of this Japanese fabric range. But that one in particular is just stunning. So anyway, I've been shopping. It wasn't too expensive. I think the fat quarters are $7.50 Australian, which is pretty good. And we don't need a lot of fabric. We just need bits. Dyed fabric. Indigo. I got a pack of them from Bitten by the Bug. So genuine indigo dyed fabrics. I was saying I hope I come across an indigo dyeing class in Japan, because I don't think I'd ever want to do it myself in my own home, but if I could find a studio that does it and join in and just experience it, that would be a bonus. But I don't know, sometimes it's hard to join into such things because you're on such a tight schedule. You really probably need to be in the country a couple months, which I just can't afford that time. So what I've done is picked out some pieces and I've snipped off corners of things, bits of things. I'll show you that there, because I was talking about this piece. It was funny because when I got to the end of it, I realized that these 2 pieces I had used, and I'd cut a piece out of there and a strip out of there without realizing it. I'd placed them here and here, so you would think there's a bigger piece in behind, but there's not, of course. I've just popped it in. But what I've done without realizing is I've dragged the eye across my piece by having these 2 similar tones tucked in here and here. I wish I had a hit record and you would have seen me actually piece this together. Then I started looking again at it and going, oh, look, I've put copper and copper here. This piece was attached to this, and I snipped it off because it was hiding underneath everything, and I thought that's a waste of a beautiful piece of fabric. So I snipped it off and it ended up going up here. I did have it like that, and then I realized I had this little blue edge, so I turned it around and it went here. And that then made your eye head in that direction across your piece. I've got the eye going this way, and then I've got a pale fabric here and here. So now the eye is going this way, a dark fabric here and here, and now the eye is going that way. I've got some feature pieces. So that piece, there's only one of them, but it's like a feature. And even that one I'd class as a feature too because of the circle. So without realizing, I've made my eye go across my piece numerous times so that you sort of, I don't know, you're encompassing the whole thing. So the plan is now, not only do I have some great little snacky bits here that will go into my journal, I'll just keep them all separate from the big pieces and pop that away because they will now travel with the journal because they sort of connect the project together. I might just pop them on a paper clip before they get, you know, spread across the whole room. If I can find a clip. I can't believe I didn't hit record. That's twice now I've done that recently. I've got to take a little time to check what I'm doing. Okay, so they're all clipped together so they don't go away. I did that with the whites too. So the plan is, with these dyed fabrics, is to stitch them down with boro stitch or running stitch using my crochet cotton. Just across we go. I might even do a bit of that, do a few things with it, just running stitch. I want to create a palette that is in my journal ready to go. So if for some reason I want to make a feature of a piece of fabric or do an embroidery or I don't know, who knows. I have a background stitched ready to go. So I can just slide this into my journal and pull it out wherever I may be, especially if I'm on a cruise, for example, and I may not have got to Japan yet and I want to do something, a little bit of stitching. I've got a background ready to go. So I might sketch some flowers onto here and embroider them on, or who knows. It's just about having a blank canvas, I guess like a scrap of scrapbooking paper in my journal ready to have some embellishment put onto it, whatever that may be. So I'm just making sure I've got everything pinned down, and then that's ready to stitch. And like I said, I'm pre-recording a few videos. It's still Sunday the 10th, and to come out of my craft room today and have something I can stitch this evening is a bonus, which is what this is going to be. Okay, so I will leave the piece there. Now what I did do in addition that you guys don't know about because I didn't record is I prepped some more pieces of calico or muslin exactly the same size. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So this one is getting background and treated to a point where it's ready to be embellished, and these are blank. I may do some more backgrounds as this project goes along, or I may not. I may just leave those 4 pieces as they are and we'll put them into the journal. And as I was sort of ripping these down to size, I was talking about maybe, here's just an idea, when I get to a prompt that just stumps me, like actually the next prompt for the 13 is mirrored, and that doesn't do much for me, because what I'm thinking with this fabric is I make a fabric flip out of them, but make a piece that would hold them into my journal with, say, a paper clip or something, and then when I want to remove it, I can undo this clip and take a piece out and do something with it, but they're at least secure in my journal. There is a journal page yeah, something to secure it. Yeah, and decorate it, and yeah. Okay, we're going to do that. So there'll be another video created when I finish this for the 13th, and it will be something to clip these fabrics into my journal, ready for me to use as needed. So I'm just going to put that to side. So we've got video 13 percolating in my head already. Okay, so I'm going to start stitching this because I want to get it started. Now I need a needle. There we go. So I'm just using some crocheting cotton. It's fine because it's only a small piece, so I didn't want it too chunky. And I'm going to just start putting random stitches down my piece, like so. And I concertina the fabric onto my needle, like so. I've actually got some boro or some Japanese needles coming too. I saw them on a website. I was like, oh, do you see that's crooked? I'm not going to worry about it because it's, no, I am going to worry about it. Look, I'm going to undo that. I can do better. Like, it's not meant to be perfect because it's just, you know, running stitch, but I can be a little better. Yeah, as I was saying, I've got some needles coming that is more designed for Japanese embroidery. They're longer for doing exactly this. I have a feeling they're probably similar to what I've already got, but I just wanted to have a look at them. They were $3.50 for the little pack. I think there's 3 or 4 needles in the pack. So they will arrive hopefully this week, and we can have a little play with those. And then we might include the needle pack in the journal. So I know I've got my needles in there that will be suitable. Okay, so I'm getting to the end of the fabric and take it through and knot it off. Now, because I want it to be a combination of different running stitches and things like that, I will do some stitches going across the piece as well. So my thread is probably not long enough to do that same line again, but it's definitely long enough to go across. So I'm just going to run it across my piece. I was nearly going to do it there, but I think I'm going to go round that piece. Sort of thinking of a different, see, that's crooked. I'm overthinking it a bit here. I should just be stitching it down. Boro stitch is used for mending, a traditional way of mending when people were very poor and fabric was very valuable, and say your work shirt developed a hole or your pants developed a hole, you could use a tiny little scrap of fabric from goodness knows where and stitch over it and over it and over it many, many times so that it just becomes part of the original garment. That's boro. And it's become an art form now because it's just so beautiful. Okay, I'm just pulling that knot back a little bit. I want to take the pressure off my piece, otherwise it pulls it in. See that one there? The knot is pulling that piece a little bit too much. So before you knot your work off, you should really make sure it's sitting nice and flat. That knot has actually come through to the other side. So I'm just going to pull that back and just gently bring it back along. Yep, that's good. Now I can finish this off. Okay, with a little stitch, and that'll hold that into position. Okay everyone, I'm going to finish the video here. It's not a long one today, but oh, before I go, I did want to show you what I did with this ephemera booklet by adding some more score lines to the spine to help it to close. Okay, that is looking good with those few stitches there. So I'll continue to muck around with that later on today, and I'll show you in the next video or even the next one once I sort of get it sort of all secured down with my stitches. So happy with that. Now what I was talking about here is I noticed that it was not closing as flat as it should because the goodies inside. So I added some more score lines to it. So I'll just show you what I did and move that out of the way. Won't be a moment. And I just want to grab the canvas cover that we will be using. Now the one I've ordered for the project still hasn't arrived, but this is what I mean. Okay. See how the manufacturer of this canvas cover has added additional score lines there. You can see them all, those little ridges. So if you will use it as it is now, the fold would be there and it'd be, you know, ready to go. But because these are designed to fill up, the manufacturer has added all these extra lines so that the spine can go from 1/8 of an inch right up to probably 1.5 inches and maybe even more. So those score lines are sort of encouraging the journal to sort of grow in the spine. So to fix my little, not that there was a problem with it, but to just help it manipulate it a little bit, I grabbed my scoreboard out and I found the 4-inch line. That's where we originally scored. Then I just moved it slightly that way and I did another score line. Then I went to the back, found the 4-inch line, and then went a little bit along and did another one. So there's actually 3 score lines there, and what that's helping it do is it will, as it fills, bend a little bit more so that the spine becomes a little bit bigger, just like the cover. So that's just a little trick to help manipulate your little book to find its, you know, flat home. Plus I can get more in there now because technically I've got a spine that could go out as much as 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and I did add a little piece of fabric here. After I finished filming this video, I just spotted that on my desk there and I thought, oh, I have to add a little tab, a little bit of fabric. Okay, so that's what I did to that piece. So I talked about that. We prepped more fabric and we're going to make something that pins that fabric into the journals on a page. And we've laid out all our dyed fabric, which is our prompt. And now I'm just going to do some stitching on it this evening when I'm sitting in front of the TV. So I can put that aside and it's ready as a little project for me for later in the day. Okay, guys, I'll leave it at that. And I'll be back in another video, which will be the 13th. It's lunchtime now, so it's time to have a break, make some lunch, and yeah, come back and have another play. Okay, see you all soon. Bye.